an entirely different show coming up April 13th at the Auditorium Theater. Yeah. And now this is commissioned partly by the Auditorium Theater?
Yes.
Is that what I read?
Yeah, it's a partnership with the Auditorium Theater and River North Dance.
And it's called the Cuba Project.
Well, we have a title now.
Oh, okay.
The title is called Havana Blue.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it sort of brings in the colors that we actually, Frank Chavez, the artistic director of River North, and a large group went to Cuba in September. And that's what we experienced just hanging out in Havana.
Now, I have to ask you about Cuba because the reason why you were able to go is because it was an educational trip. So is that why you were able to leave the United States and get there? Because there still isn't travel to Cuba.
Exactly. Well, it's more of an artistic educational. Okay. It's really an artistic exchange, which is so important. So our job and our I guess the license that we received was based on being inspired by Cuban musicians and also inspiring them.
Yeah.
And which makes total sense because it's really the sort of the mantra of Chicago Jazz Philharmonic is this third stream, the blending of classical and jazz. So in Cuba, we were really able to blend America with Cuba on a very personal level. I mean, it's phenomenal. I made some incredible friends. I made it a point because when I compose, I try to become one with the project. I want to become the project in a sense. That, for instance, I did a recent project for our veterans, the last Veterans Day with the Bears and Boeing and USO, and I spent about 80% of my time in research and wrote the music in about a week.
Oh, jeez!
But I spent more than a year wrestling with the concept of being a soldier, and so with Cuba.
As a composer too, just to jump in there, I mean that has to be the most important thing because it's almost like you're an actor. Yeah. You have to get into the part.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. So Cuba was difficult in the sense of understanding the Cuban music. Is we tend to think of Latin music. We say okay, it's Latin,
right?
And we generically put a label on a very complex form of music. I mean, it's a genre in itself, and I never really understood that it comes from Cuba. Most of what we hear even that would grow into salsa or that becomes Americanized is very much Cuban. So from day one, my only agenda was to take my horn, and whenever there was a musician, I'm playing with them. I did every restaurant. There was one time we were walking on the street. We befriended an 80-year-old Rumba teacher and instructor. Wow. He was the coolest. Orlando. Oh my goodness! And he had us walking through Old Havana, and there was a trumpet player like a half block away, and he's playing exercises. So he couldn't see me, and I'm a block away playing the same thing he played. He would look, man, what was that? Then he'd play something else, and I'd play it back. And we had a ball. And then I went over and hung out with him. We'd play. But one thing that I found striking was every time any musician found out I was from America, that it was they opened up their heart. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it had to do with, I know a little, either a little or a lot about your music, but there was just this love, man. It was like, wow. And even in the restaurants, and I didn't try to push myself on people, but I'd have the case and I'd set it by my chair. And they could tell, man, that table's over there listening, So I kind of take the horn and kind of put out, and they'd say, oh yeah, come on. And the rest was history.
Wow!
But it was great. But my main reason for there was to really learn the music and experience, because I didn't want it to be. Whenever I write, I want my music to last a long time. And I think that's the difference of writing something for a quick project. Like whether it's a movie or a jingle. Right. I want my music to stand alone for a long time. But this project, it was amazing just working with Frank Chavez. Oh my goodness!
Now he went down with you, but you still haven't put the whole thing together yet.
No. This was Going down there was first step.
Right.
And it was emotional for him because he is Cuban. He's from Cuba, but his family left when he was 6 months old.
Oh wow!
So he's never been back to Cuba. So you can imagine when our bus stopped at his home address. Wow. And we all got out and walked, and man, it was just phenomenal. And I'm just, we filmed everything, and I'm just trying to capture the emotion and what does that feel like? Because when I come back, I want to put that piece, which I did. One of our movements in the second half is based on Frank's experience of going back home. And I think that's what I want my music to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, thanks.
So the show's going to combine the River North Dance. So they're going to be. Are you going to be in the pit, and they're going to be on the stage at the Auditorium Theater?
We're all going to be on the stage.
Okay.
We're all going to be on the stage. I think we sort of. I hope the dance fans can appreciate what we're doing. I think because we're changing the way I believe dance and music will be perceived in the future, and one of the ways is through improvisation. Because when you think of the dance process, the choreographer is very similar to the classical conductor. It's basically, I'm going to show you what I want you to do, and I want you to do it at the best of your ability, and in a sense, follow me, and do it the same way every time. Mm-hmm. But what we're doing is, for a couple movements, pairing up dancers with musicians based on the dancer's personality and the characteristics of the instrument.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
And it was obvious when we met for the first time. Ahmad's the drummer, and Jessica is the trumpet player. She's sassy.
Yeah.
She's got attitude. You can just tell the way she walks in the room. I say, oh, that's my trumpet player. But the idea is that as we create music and motion, we inspire each other. Mm-hmm. So with the idea of not knowing how she's going to move or how I'm going to play. And so she stretches my limitations by doing a certain thing, and I stretch her limitations by what I play. And then when we put the quintet or sextet back together, we make music, and each person listens and become a part of that music.
Interesting.
So when you see it, you're actually hearing jazz.
Yeah.
And Mike, the dancer that teams with Stuart, our bass player, he becomes a bass. I mean, there's a point when he sticks his neck out, and he's just like,
no kidding.
It's pretty amazing. But I think that what was incredible was from the first take of that, it was just golden.
Yeah.
We didn't have to rehearse it, and actually, we're not going to rehearse it. We did it a couple times. No. It's what it's going to be in that moment on the stage.
Right. Oh, that's incredible. So that's April 13th at the Auditorium Theater.
Yeah.